Which way will tariffs go? Tomorrow is April 2nd, or Liberation Day, as Donald Trump has called it. Indian trade officials have been working furiously to hammer out deals which will protect farmers and agriculture and maybe give away a few things elsewhere. Bloomberg reported that India was considering lower duties on pecans, pulses, and non genetically modified soya beans, as well as dried distilled grains soluble, a byproduct of ethanol production used in animal feed. People who spoke to Bloomberg said India is also seeking greater access for its grapes and organic farm products in the American market. India imported about $32 billion of agriculture and related products from around the world in 23-24, according to Trade Ministry figures, including about $1.5 billion from the United States. Bloomberg added that while the figure has grown over the years, it remains modest by comparison with countries like China, which imports much more. Vegetable oil accounts for a lot of that global figures rise. India imports about 60% of its vegetable oil needs, as we've been documenting on the core report, and currently buys soybean and canola oils derived from GM crops. Now, there are several combinations of line items, and after a point, it becomes quite unnecessarily speculative on what items could get hit. But the broad ones that we've been talking to are quite clear that India will clearly give in on areas like whiskey and superbikes, and has already given in on the Google tax that we've talked about, or that 6% levy. Now, anything to do with agriculture and dairy in India is a no, and Indian trade officials are and perhaps will resist tooth and nail. The rest, well, is open season. But how bad could it be, and which way could things go? Several economists, including MK Capital's Madhvi Arora, have been working on stress test reports. So I reached out to her and I began by asking her to walk us through the key points in a report she's just put out, and also talk about how she was seeing the way out for India as an economist.
So I'll just quickly first run through how we have done this assessment. As you rightly mentioned, there are three ways in which the tariff could be imposed. It's still very sketchy at this point in time, very unclear as to how the final implementation is going to be. And just to add to the point, April 2nd may not be the resolution of any kind of tariff imposition, but actually we believe it will be a second leg of the war which will get extended. So on a broad country level, what US could do is that, if they're not very well prepared in terms of their homework, they can just put a relatively simpler way of sort of imposing tariff would be put a broad country level tariff, or whatever difference their country is putting on them, they would put a differential tariff on the same, which for India is most damaging on paper in terms of, its delta with the US, because India after Korea is one of the highest tariff imposition countries on the US. So on paper, we looks to be massively hit. But when we get into the details of that, we realize that, India's market is quite concentrated for the US per se. Sectorally, it may not be as impacted. And second way, of course, he can do is that he can go on sector and sector basis and see, which sector have a differential with higher differential of US with respective country. And then accordingly, they will probably tariff the country in the same order, which is very complex. But they have done that in recent past, like for steel sector, for auto sector very recently. But they still have very, very vague in terms of imposition. So we don't know how it really play out. But sector level, if we get into the details of the same, what we realize is that between broad country level and broad sector level, there will be some mix that will be played out. Assuming they do a broad country level tariff, India would not be as big a hit per se on numbers, even though on paper we look to be a big hit. We export roughly 2% of our GDP worth of export to the US, of which our study suggests that the actual vulnerable sectors basically just about 1.1% of GDP. So on net basis, the broad country level tariff would probably lead to a export loss of around 6 billion for India from the US market, which is around 0.12% of GDP, of which the sectors that we have established in our thesis and which we think are far better placed than feared are auto, pharma, electronics. But at the same time, there's, some labor-intensive sectors like apparel and gems and jewelry, which may not have much escape routes. So I think these two sectors are much more gullible to the whole tariff war. But I think there are a lot of, if you go in the nuances of auto, pharma, electronics sector, you'll actually find that there are escape routes in with which we may not be as badly hit as markets are fearing at this point in time.
Right. So, in the case of electronics, you're arguing that basically this would really mean a bigger hit on US consumers. So, chances of a high tariff are low. And the second is pharmaceuticals, which, of course, the industry has also been telling us that it's too sensitive for them to increase tariffs. And on the other hand, it's interesting to note that one of the things that we're exporting to the US is nuclear reactors and parts. Is that, would you know?
No, it's basically all machinery. This is the code that they had put in the HS category, but it's actually all kind of machineries, not just nuclear machineries.
Okay, but anyway, it's interesting to note that we are exporting nuclear reactors or some parts of it to the United States.
Yeah, the parts of it. Yeah, it's mostly a machinery aspect.
So let me ask you a slightly broader question, Madhuri. So as an economist, when you look at what or rather where we are, because I'm assuming we don't usually look at this. We don't look at where Indian exports stand on a competitive basis, and we don't usually go line by line and say, okay, where do Indian apparel stand versus California almonds or whatever it is. So what is it that we should be doing as a country? That's one. And secondly, as enterprises or as sectors, as you look ahead to become more competitive?
See, if you look at the last trade war that happened in 2017-18, India technically did not gain anything out of that because the China plus one narrative is played out. It was purely rhetoric. Nobody lost in the China plus one thesis, wherein China actually gained global market share. They increased their export share, they increased their value, added in the global exports chain. They shifted their trade dynamics away from US to ASEAN and even LATAM and even Russia for that matter. They moved their export base in a way that they can find some leeways to reduce the tariff pain by doing FDIs in other countries. A lot of rerouting of exports happened, and plus they also became much more tech oriented. So they moved their product basket dramatically. For instance, the likes of EVs, lithium-ion battery cells, and even the regular cars. All of that were less than 1-2% of China's trade basket, which became almost 10%. So they had done a massive reshuffling of their trade order in order to not lose their market share. And eventually, the likes of ASEANs, who were part of this whole China plus one chain where FDIs of China happened in the likes of Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam became a very big player in low-end Chinese shift of market share. India did not gain anything in that. We were not part of the China plus one pact. In fact, the places where we actually gained were not even close to where the places where China vacated the market share, even in the low-end categories. So I think we missed the last chain. This time it will be much more dynamic play because everybody will be targeted, not just China in this time around, right? So every country is going to be targeted. I think there will be eventually differential targeting approach that the US will adopt. But that said, I think we, as of now, don't really have a great manufacturing capacity to really compete in case China further leaves the low-end capacity industries. Other countries try to sort of lever on that. That said, I think somewhere we still have opportunities. We started innovating a lot in the textile sector where we lost the best last time. We are focusing a lot, on non-apparel textiles so that we can capture market gain in that. Electronics, again, we have done a bit of assembling-led expansion, but we still have a long way to go to be a part of the value chain in a more dramatic fashion. I think as of now, the focus of policymakers has to be to ensure that we get a good bargaining from the West because everybody's going to be doing the same shit, which is basically trying to expand the manufacturing base, including the US, right? If everybody starts producing, who's going to consume? So in this mess, the best way is to be geopolitically very strategic. Of course, keep working on improving your low-end manufacturing base where the employment is much higher. So at least you take care of the employment of low-end segments of the economy. But at the same time, you need to be strategically much more well-positioned to not lose what you have at this point in time. It'll be difficult for you to get or improve your relationship with China without disturbing that for the US. So last time we did not participate in China plus one. This time until last year, there were even talks within the government of India that should we open up India to China's FDI. There were all debates that happened to that. We really could have probably gained along with China plus one if had we participated in the FDI diversification of China. So it will be very difficult. I mean, at this point in time, we haven't done much in terms of really capturing our market share if China loses any kind of space in the low-end basket. I think we still have a long way to go. Policymakers will have to keep focusing on ensuring that manufacturing from the low end to the mid segment continues. And I think R&D is one segment where China has shown that can really change the landscape of an economy. This is what they did last 5 years. I think we need to also start focusing on R&D because that's one segment which we purely import from the rest of the world. Long way to go, but at least the intent has to be right.